So we're going to be talking about absolute value equations, which we've talked about this before when we're dealing with absolute value inequalities. So it kind of has the same idea of it. So what an absolute value equation is it's the distance a number is away from zero. So for example, anytime that a number is within an absolute value, it's always going to be a positive value. So in this case, 4 is in the absolute value, so it's going to equal 4. Where negative 4 is in the absolute value, so that's going to equal a positive 4. Now, if you were to look at this as a graph, it goes from negative 4 to 0, which is 4 away from 0. And this one goes from 0 to 4, which is 4 away from 0. So they're both positive numbers. That's why. So when you're solving for absolute value equation, you always have to have two equations. So you should come up with two answers. So this is kind of a mini example of what I mean by that. So this is an absolute value. The absolute value of x is equal to 9. So the first equation you would make is it would be x is equal to 9 because the absolute value is by itself, or it would be x is equal to negative 9. So because the absolute value is by itself, you can set those two equations. So in this case, you have a positive 9 is your first equation, and a negative 9 is your second equation. So you take one and you keep the answer the same, and you take the other equation and make it the opposite value. So it would be, instead of a positive 9, it's negative 9.